You are listening to the unfiltered, unscripted, 100% authentic. I'm your host, Michael, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Air Raid Attack Podcast, brought to you by Belly Up Sports. And we got a fun show. And before I announce the special guest for today's episodes, stay tuned if you're watching us live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, whatever the case might be. Join the conversation, and we'll get your comments posted on the live screen. If you're on Twitter, unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to read off any comments that comes through because Twitter and StreamYard cannot do the whole comment thing. But if you keep in the show, a little teaser, special announcement in the end. So that's your way of hey, you gotta listen throughout the whole next hour. Without further ado, I get to be the honor of bringing on my good friends, the hosts of the Herb and Rodg Podcast, the very own Herb and Rodg. Guys, welcome back on. And I know it's been a minute, but it's been definitely. I'm looking forward to this one. But first things first, how you guys doing? And how's from my standpoint, the podcast is really going to town. And how's the podcast world treating you guys?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Like you mentioned, the podcast seems like it's picking up a little bit of steam. We want to stay on a weekly basis, but we'll take a look at it every once in a while. But other than that, life is good. We're doing good. I'll actually be in Bama tomorrow, so I'll see Herb in person tomorrow, and I'll have to put up with him for the weekend. But I think I can manage.
Put up with him for the weekend. I would expect no less, though. Yeah, no, the podcast has been fun. Rod pretty much carries the show. I sit over there, I do stuff like this. I usually eat in the show while Rod just kind of goes off. Yes. Did you know one thing that you missed? He has his own fan club.
Really?
Yes. The RFC. The Rodg fan club.
Right.
And I didn't have to even make that up.
Believe it or not, the guy who heads the fan club, his first name is Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike's a very common name.
It is.
Oh, hold on.
That I give props to that Mike out there that's leading the charge of the Rodg fan club.
All right. Herb's a funny guy.
Yeah. Apparently the only requirements are you have to have bad taste, be a Lakers fan, and like Rodg.
Oh wow. The jabs continue.
We'll definitely talk some Lakers. Of course, I was overseas and honestly, I didn't watch any of the series. But before we get to it, I know you guys tell the listeners out there where they can listen to you from and listen and get all the wonderful podcasts that you guys are creating out there.
We're on. We've started doing the show live. It's Mondays at 7 p.m. Central. We stream it through StreamYard, so you can catch it on both of our. You can catch it on the Twitter page, our YouTube channel, even our Facebook, and then we do upload each one to Spotify, where it's still distributed out to, Apple Music and Amazon Music and like all different platforms. So there's plenty of places. If you start with Spotify, you'll definitely be able to catch us and subscribe. So, and our YouTube channel, of course, we use that a little bit more in the fall because we love football. But Monday nights at 7 right now is the time until football season starts. So that's where you
could check out some of our pictures and the other things in our personal life too on our Instagram on Herb and Rodg too. So
there you go.
Please check that out as well.
Give them a follow, give them a like, give them whatever else the social media platforms describe it, because you're missing out if you're not. I assure you.
Thank you. Join Rodg's fan club.
Oh gosh.
Is this a Rodg fan club? Is there any other info like at? Is it just strictly Rodg fan club?
It's just RFC.
Just RFC.
RFC strong.
Hashtag RFC.
Yeah. It literally popped up within seconds.
Yeah.
During the middle of a broadcast.
Oh
so it was crazy.
Strange.
Yeah.
By the end of this, Rodg, you're gonna be trending on Twitter. I can guarantee it.
I cannot wait.
You will have made it then.
Hashtag if you're watching this live on Twitter.
If I trend, we all trend.
Yes. Hashtag Rodg fan club.
No, Rodg is gonna let it go to his head if that happens.
He's gonna screenshot it and then tweet it out. Not to put some little bad blood into your Raj or bad memories, but I unfortunately did not get the privilege of watching Denver beat the Lakers. What went wrong for LA? Part A, and then leading up to the question: did we see the final days of LeBron in LA?
Ooh, good questions. Good questions to start off with. I know Herb is excited for these answers. As far as what went wrong with LA, I kind of 3 out of the 4 games LA was actually in. Games 1, 2, and 4, LA played good. They were actually in the game pretty much the whole time, and they were competitive. Game 3, not so much.
But even game 3 wasn't. It wasn't a blowout. I think it was just the biggest margin of victory, like
exactly.
9 or 10 points. Yeah, so.
And for me, I kind of, and Herb and I talked about this too, and it seems like that LA just runs out of steam around like midway through the third quarter, fourth quarter, and then obviously for LeBron, it's his age. AD's 30, but let's be honest. In basketball years, AD has an old body, so it seems like they kind of run out of steam in the second half. AD was a little inconsistent as well, but he's been like that throughout the entire playoffs. And overall, Denver just has a deeper, better team. I feel like Denver can sit Joker and Jamal Murray from certain times throughout the game and still have healthy enough scoring coming off their bench. Or even, you got guys, KCP, Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon can add you a few points. But LA is getting there as far as the bench is concerned. As far as having the role players stepped up, we've seen Austin Reeves was huge throughout the playoffs, and the same with Rui Hachimura, who I've nicknamed the Hachi Sauce. So both of those guys stepped up throughout the playoffs. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens in the Lakers in the offseason. But yeah, to answer the question, they just ran out of steam and they just couldn't keep up with Denver.
Yeah, Denver was clearly, I think, I want to say clearly. I mean, so we're looking at the scores. It was a 6-point game, a 5-point game, 11-point game, and a 2-point game.
Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't like it was probably the most competitive sweep that you'll see. But I think you start with giving credit to Denver. They were just the better team, and they were steadied the course. That fourth game, LeBron came out firing. He had 31 by halftime.
31 in the first, yep.
But like Raj said, it was, the third quarter that doomed them. And, LeBron ended the game with 40, including getting kind of stripped and blocked on the final play.
Yeah.
They just didn't have enough, but you have to give credit to Denver. They were the number 1 seed for a reason, and they're just a well-built team. It's not like what you saw with what the Nets trying to do with let's get 3 superstars. They were like, let's get a superstar, a star, and then build.
And that's exactly what they did. They've got a good number 1, a good number 2, and they just got the overall best team in the league. I would say I would put a healthy Clippers team up there as well as far as roster wise. But
what now?
A healthy Clippers team.
what is that?
I know. But
what does that really consist of, Raj?
I don't know. and I even told her this. I think that the injury with Kawhi Leonard, that whole knee situation, I just think that's a lot deeper than what we all hear about. It seems like they're scared to play him because of what might happen. Had him and Paul George both been healthy throughout the playoffs, I think they could have gave Denver a run for the money and if not made it to the finals. But
when they were both injured, they still gave the Suns a good fight with both of them hurt. So they would have, but Denver's just well built. It is, like I said, I agree with Raj. The Clippers would have been a tough test if they had, but Denver's well built. They're steady. And like I said, LeBron, they just the Lakers didn't have enough. And we're talking about the superstar and star model. It's like LeBron is still the superstar, but he's 38. He can't summon, or as Shannon Sharp summons it up. And AD's motor just the last game, Mike, the Lakers were leading for like the whole first half. And I told you LeBron had 31 and a half. I think he had 20 like in the first 21 in the first quarter alone. Like he came out firing.
Yeah.
The third quarter is where they lost the game. They get outscored by like 16 in the third quarter. I think they only had like 16, 18. That is the point where LeBron is done. AD needs to step up and take over, and it just didn't happen. Yeah. And I think, people can say what they want, or, maybe I'm being too simplistic about it. But to me, that's what happens. All right, AD comes and says, look, give me the ball. I'm going to go score.
And I have a feeling, I get the feeling that LeBron wants to give the keys to AD, but it's like I feel like he's reaching out his hand and he's like, here's the keys, but AD just won't take them. AD has some really, really good games, but then the next game will be really, really like bad. Not necessarily bad, but as far as like statistics wise, it's just not the same. You can't have 40 points one game and then come out and have 18 the next, especially in the playoffs. We need you to be consistent 25, 30 a game. AD has not done that. And one play we didn't mention, actually Herb did mention, was the last play of the fourth game when LeBron had the ball a couple seconds left. Denver played excellent defense. They knew he wasn't going to shoot a three. LeBron hasn't shot the ball well from three in the playoffs this year, so they knew he was going to drive. They read him. Aaron Gordon played good defense, and Jamal Murray stepped up at the right time, stripped the ball. It was no foul at all. It was clean defense, good defense, and Denver just outmatched him.
Yeah. And Mike, to answer your second question, I don't think any of us believe that he's actually leaving. Right. I think so. It's interesting. Raj and I did grades at the end of everybody's season, and it was like for the Lakers, expectation wise, from the beginning of the season to where they got to, that's an A. But in LeBron James at 38, I guarantee he says this is an F because he was playing for two reasons: scoring title, and titles. Yeah, he got one. So there's no point in him. Like, if you're going to make the conference finals, you might as well have not have made the playoffs.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. So for him, I think that retirement talk was, look, you guys got to do what you got to do. Yeah. Because I got one or two more shots at this. Yeah. So sorry, Roger.
I think the retirement talk was just a lot of frustration out of him too. I mean, you're asking him questions immediately after they lost Game 4 and they're eliminated from the series. Season's over. I mean, but he put up 40, 10, and 9 in his last game. So with those numbers, I mean, I don't think he's going to retire. And he's already mentioned numerous times he wants to play with his son, Bronny. Bronny's going to attend USC in the fall. Personally, I don't think I think if he does one and done, I don't know if he'll be a first-round pick. It'll be interesting to see how well he does this freshman year. Right. So with that being said, let's just say LeBron. I think LeBron will play at least another 2 to 3 more seasons. But with him getting as far as he did this past season, I mean, I don't think a lot of us expected that because at one point in the season, the Lakers were like 2-10. I want to say they lost the first 5 games. I think they were at 13th place at one time, and we're like, we'd be lucky to get a play in. Luckily, we got the play in, beat Minnesota, and went on from there. I don't think he's going to retire. I think a lot of people that are familiar with sports in general just don't think he's going to retire. We'll see him play a couple more years, but he did send a message to the Lakers saying, we've got to do something this offseason because my tank is running low. I don't have a lot left. He really wants to win another ring because, again, this is my opinion. I do think the GOAT debate is something that circles in his mind from time to time with the amount of chatter that goes on regarding that. And I think that getting one ring will get him 5, it won't get him 6. But it'll really, really help his argument with that situation. And I really, really think he wants that 5th ring to at least tie Kobe and tie, I want to say Magic too, and some other guys. But
5 rings and 3 different franchises and the scoring title would really make the argument.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that whole debate is subjective. It's always going to come down who likes who. Both Herb and I still have Jordan as 1, but I've already told Herb, like, if LeBron can get me another ring, then I might have to give him that top spot. But
like
and
just the fact that he's in the argument for it is amazing.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens, but we don't think he's retiring.
Which will lead to, of course, to kind of into the summertime. Now you go look at the Lakers. Off season wise, they got the biggest thing's the cap space. They, of course, Kyrie Irving, I believe, is a free agent. What do you think's a thing for Russ? I don't think Russ is going to go back to his OKC form. I think his OKC form got dismissed somewhere in the trade when Oklahoma City traded Russ. But in your opinion, I think Austin Reeves is a free agent. What should the Lakers do to make that cap space doable, to make some potential free agents, big time free agent signings, maybe like a Kyrie Irving or who knows, who else is out there for the Lakers?
I mean, I'm not sure what their flexibility is like, to be honest. I think the as far as priorities are concerned, they have to keep Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. Those are two names.
They can match Reeves. Reeves is going to be out of their price range, but they're going to match Reeves. They're going to go over to match Reeves, I believe, and they're gonna keep Rui. They have to.
They have to. Those are two guys who showed up for both of them in the playoffs on a day in day out basis, so they got to keep those two. Honestly, regardless with everybody else on the team, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Beasley, the rest of the guys. I'm perfectly okay with if they were to go elsewhere. I like Russell. I like the acquisition of Russell, but during the playoffs, he was just kind of absent. He had a few good games here and there, but most of all, he just wasn't there.
Well, I forgot real quick, Ross, just on the D'Angelo Russell. He was unplayable, Mike, against Denver.
Yeah,
he had some good games against Memphis, and against Golden State.
Yeah,
and then that was it. You got to the point where there was reports out where they were like, if we bench Russell, are we going to lose him, for the playoffs? Like,
right.
It's just going to be just whatever. But the offense wasn't there, and he never plays defense anyway. So he was, that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
They'll keep him, but not at, the price tag he might want.
Exactly. So, now I know there's rumors going on. Obviously, Chris Paul got waived. Was it yesterday? I believe.
Yep.
Was
it yesterday? It depends on who you talk to, because half the outlets say he got waived, and half of them say they're still talking.
Well, I've heard that he got waived, but they're still willing to talk to him, or whatever that is supposed to mean. No, it's like, look, we don't want you here, but if you want to stay, we'll give you.
I guess
So they broke up, but they'll still take his calls. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, and I've heard people say like, there's 4 teams that they think he might go to, and one of them being the Lakers. If you're the Lakers, you're not taking Chris Paul. He's 38. He'll be 39, I think, later on this year or whenever he turns 39. LeBron, the Lakers don't need another old guy on the team as far as guard. So that's exactly what they don't need. Now, I would entertain Kyrie if Kyrie was to come to the Lakers. I would definitely take that. I have no problem with that. I think he'd be an upgrade to the point guard position. He's a better shooter. The only thing with Kyrie with me is just the off the field stuff. Kyrie is very opinionated.
Yes.
Yeah, he says he kind of speaks his mind, and I've even told Herb this that I don't think he's happy playing as much as he used to be when he first got in the league. I think he's just gotten to a point to where the media and everything outside of basketball has just taken a toll on him mentally, and he's just like, I'll play a few more years, make a couple more dollars, and then I'm out. But honestly, if he wanted to come to the Lakers, that would be an interesting fit, just like I said, as far as point guard. But then he's ball dominant, then LeBron's ball dominant, then AD's going to still need his shots as well. So there's going to be some sacrifices that need to be made there. But, I mean, LeBron and Kyrie play together, and I don't think LeBron has the problem giving Kyrie that last shot or giving the last shot or giving the ball in general. So
I think the problem, though, is the price tag. Is if you sign Kyrie, you don't sign Reeves or Rui or anybody else that you just mentioned. And I think that's too much to give up. And
then there were reports that Kyrie is trying to get LeBron to go to Dallas. That I don't think that's going to happen at all. It's just that was just an interesting story, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, so I don't see how that would help out LeBron at all. I don't get it. Him and Luka on the same team. There's only one basketball. Yeah. It wouldn't work.
They'd have to play quarters. Like Luka would get the first, LeBron would get the second. Like that's the only way.
So. So it'll be interesting to see what the Lakers do in the offseason as far as who they can maintain and what other transitions are going to be made.
I was over in Israel. I was a little surprised that when I saw the notifications that the Lakers got swept. I'm like, well, that was my prediction. I definitely didn't see that one, if anything. So
yeah.
But moving on, Game 3 last night.
Yep.
It was a flat-out Nuggets dismantled the Heat, and Joker recorded, I think, the first 30-point, 20 rebound, triple-double in finals history. I think it was 32 and 21.
Yeah,
something to that degree. But Murray, of course, put up 34 points as well. But
he also had a triple-double. That's how good Jokic is. Murray had a triple-double, and I don't even know if people noticed.
Nobody even, just kind of flying under.
No, exactly.
Yeah, Murray had 34, 10, and 10. Jokic has 32, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
What, Rod, were you watching Aladdin or Little Mermaid or Frozen, or were you actually watching the game, though?
I was actually watching the game.
No, that's Raj because he.
Raj.
I missed the large majority of Game 2 because me and my wife went to see The Little Mermaid Sunday night.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't bad. I never saw the original. When the original came out, I was like 11. Herb was 15, I believe. We just weren't. That wasn't in the direction we were going into The Little Mermaid, so we just didn't watch it. But I thought the live action was pretty good. I would pay to see it. So. So I missed pretty much all of Game 2 except for like the last 8 minutes.
Nice.
Regarding last night's game, though, like the thing about Joker is that he's not like the flashiest player, not the fastest. He's not running around dunking all over anybody, but he's extremely efficient and extremely good at what he does. He's a facilitator. Obviously, he can score if you need to, and he can get rebounds. He does everything you need him to. He's not selfish at all. And I just think the Nuggets have a really, really good team built around him and Murray. They won by 15 yesterday. I don't know what Game 4 is going to hold. I really want Miami to win another game just so it's a little more competitive. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets win the next two.
Yeah. The thing about Jokic is you just kind of see he's the kind of superstar that you don't mind dumping the ball down to every play because you know he's going to make the right play. You know, there's several superstars. I mean, let's be honest. We're just talking about Kyrie. Every time down, you're probably getting a shot from every time down.
Yeah,
you know, and that's more his forte, not a shot at him, just his forte. With Jokic, you just know that it's okay. If we have this action going on, he's going to pass. He's going to, you know, if he takes 0 shots and have 15 assists at half, he's 100% fine with that.
He's fine with that, yeah.
Play, and your team is probably doing better. You know,
yeah.
I think he has one of the worst records, like when he scores 40. So
yeah, when he scores 40, I think they're like Herb said, either 1-3 or 0-3 or something like that. Yeah. So
he has no problem with that, and I think what they more than any other team benefit from a clear hierarchy. You know, you have a lot of teams where the number 2 guy doesn't know he's the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And on this team, Jamal Murray knows he's clearly number 2, but he knows he's going to bring it up some. Joker's going to bring it up some, and they're going to run their offense. And if Murray wants to get off a bunch of shots, he can. And if he needs to facilitate, he can too. So Denver's just a really well-built team around 2 guys who play unselfish basketball, you know?
Yeah.
And I think because they had kind of clinched earlier than other teams and had that number 1. I think they started resting a little because, you know, they've had Porter out. Murray's health has been their biggest thing over the years. Yeah. I think they prioritized that versus let me get the number 1 overall seed. And it's like everyone wanted to forget about Denver. Even on our show, we were like trying to figure out reasons to pick the Suns and pick the Lakers and pick the Warriors and everybody but Denver.
It's just based on what we've seen in the past as far as them not being healthy. So I kind of I didn't know if Denver would make it that far. And then when they finally got here as the 1 seed, I'm like, okay, they have a good chance to kind of win this whole thing. So
yeah, definitely. They're just a steady team. I mean, they're running up again. You know, let's give Miami credit. What they have been able to do to get to this spot. And Spoelstra, this is a coaching clinic he's really putting on, you know, getting here. But
minus Tyler Hero. So.
Yeah, minus Hero. Even Oladipo, man, I think that was a decent loss bench-wise. But Denver's, you know, Raj and I think when we were picking this series, it was just like Denver's the better team. You know, I know that doesn't always hold true, but I just feel like Denver's better, you know.
Well, you look at, you know, I think even Aaron Gordon had a big game yesterday. Well, you know, he had a solid game, and even Christian Braun, I think had one of his better games of the series so far.
He had 15 off the bench, Yep.
And that's huge, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The thing about Aaron Gordon is that they don't really need Aaron Gordon to score like 20 points. They're like, just get us some rebounds, play good defense, and do what you can. But he had 11 points, 10 rebounds. So that's really all you need from Aaron Gordon.
And solid defense, like you were just mentioning there, Raj. There's not a whole lot of defensive lapses from him. Good size. You know, he took on I guess the team's best scorers each time. He was the primary defender on LeBron in that series too, you know. So
yeah, he got lucky on LeBron, you know, whatever.
I mean, LeBron's last shot didn't even hit the rim, but that, I mean, we won't.
All right, well, Mike asked us about last night's game. So come on, Herb.
As far as game-winning shots go, it wasn't very.
You just eat your lasagna.
Oh yeah, I'm a little hungry. But no, I mean, Denver just I mean, if any team was going to stop Miami's run, you know, Denver is the team to do it. You know, they don't, you know, bend. You kind of see that in other series when Miami goes on their little runs. It just seems like teams fold. Denver is just kind of like, all right, pick and roll, you know, Murray, Jokic, and let's get our shot. So,
well, and the biggest thing I think I've noticed the whole entire NBA Finals is the fact of how dominant Denver is on the inside. I mean, they're outscoring, I think, in the paint, almost doubling what Miami's doing, and even out rebounding them. So I think just the inside the paint and the rebound for Denver is just killing Miami in this series. But you know, I read a stat this morning when I was scrolling through Twitter that I wrote it right here, courtesy of USA Today. But teams that win Game 3 when the series is 1-1 in the NBA Finals, they go on to obviously win it 80% of the time. and the teams that lead with a 2-1 won 79% of the time. So Denver's obviously, and so far they're in a good category to be in. Now, granted, we still got a lot of basketball to be played, but here we are now, quote unquote, halfway point. Because even if it goes, 5 or 6 games, at least we made it to the halfway point. Any takers that Miami might make this a series again, if in fact that they can escape Miami with a Game 4 win?
I originally picked, I think, Denver in 6, and I'm just going to stick with it. I think Miami wins tomorrow night, but then I think Denver takes the next 2 after that, and Denver wins the series 4-2. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if Denver win the next 2, to be honest. So
I'm going to say that Miami doesn't win another game in Denver, however this goes. So I think that's going to be their biggest thing. Because even when Miami won in Denver, it was still like kind of hold on for Was it Caleb Martin has been terrible in this series. Jimmy Butler has not been himself consistently for 4 quarters. So it's like, is it chasing Murray around? Is he still kind of nicked up? And then you're just going to get to the point where you don't have the firepower, and Bam up against Gordon, Porter, and Jokic. I mean, it's like you mentioned with the size. That's a tough matchup for anybody. So
and Miami likes to play on the perimeter. Like I think they were at 11 for 35 from 3 yesterday, and Denver only shot 18. So Denver shot just about half as many 3-pointers yesterday, but won the game by 15. So I think that kind of caters to you guys mentioning Denver's size and what they have down low, because we all know how it is in the NBA. If you either live by the 3 or die by the 3. So unfortunately, Miami's been dying a slow death in this series by the 3. I don't know, but when they're hitting in the previous series
against Boston,
especially against Boston, they were on fire. I forgot if it was Game 6 or Game 7. I think it was Game 7 and Game 5. Maybe they were just on fire from the 3-point line. But unfortunately, it's not working this series. So
like I said, Caleb Martin hasn't played well. Vincent had a terrible game last game. Butler's giving you like 25. Him and Bam are going to combine for about 50, but it's like nobody else was there in this last game.
Right.
And that's just, bad recipe.
To the people that's watching this live, and I can see the numbers and what categories we're at, feel free, especially on YouTube, on both the Air Raids channel and the Herb Rodg podcast channel, and to people on Twitch, I want you guys to chime in on this topic. I'm going to bring this up because it's just random in my head. I was going to see if Herb Rodg has listened to this game. Speaking of Jimmy Butler, have you guys seen a conspiracy theory about Jimmy Butler by chance?
No,
I have not.
Okay, I'll have to find the video. If not, if I can't get it before you guys can. Do you like conspiracy theory Jimmy Butler, Michael Jordan's son? It is quite interesting.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to probably butcher it, but the video does a whole lot better. So ignore what half the stuff I'm probably going to tell you. Pretty much when Michael Jordan and the Bulls were playing down in Houston, during his reign in Chicago, he was, I guess, apparently out with a woman. Supposedly, the story is that woman is Jimmy Butler's mother, and Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son from her. So, to all your listeners out there, if you've heard it, kind of chime in what you guys think. I don't know. I just think people want to say stuff just to say it. It is interesting, and I definitely want to.
I'll definitely have to research.
Definitely check into it. No, it's really interesting. Yeah. I don't believe it's to be true, but if anything, it's a good.
About it, that's for sure. Though
it's a good one. Comment on Twitter. Miss Tisha wants to hear more about Rodg's fan club.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness!
So I always give the Lakers a really hard time.
Yeah.
And we had a show one time where the comments were all Lakers fans.
Right.
And obviously Rodg being a Laker fan, and this was in the middle of a series where they were, I think it was actually, must have been
the Golden State series? Yeah.
Yeah, because it was before that series. And all of a sudden on the comments pop up Rodg fan club. And Mike, like I said, Mike is Big Mike. He's pretty much the third member of our team, and the one with us from the beginning. RFC, and then the guy I work with. See, there you go. RFC.
Shout out to Mike.
And that is where it started. And Ricky, was it Ricky? Was it like 4 or 5
it was
people?
Mike, Ricky, and man,
At
I
least
forgot
3
who
other
the other
Lakers
person
fans.
was.
Yeah, E was on there too as well.
I don't know if PJ or David were one of the people, but I forget.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's where it stemmed
started.
from.
Yes. So even the people I work with were a part of the Rodg family. So I'm just sitting there like this in the middle of the show, like that.
Oh my goodness.
So that was awful.
That was funny.
I got my revenge though. I bought a Lakers shirt to jinx them, and they got swept by.
And that happened. Yeah, we got swept. Yeah. So
there you go, Tisha. There's your. So if you want to join, if she wants to join the Rodg fan club, where should she go?
I will work on this weekend. I will work on creating official applications. I'll probably just need her email, and then yeah, because I want Herb to proofread everything while I see him this weekend. So then I'll send her email, and there's gonna be a fee. I gotta start charging. I just can't let people come in for free.
There'll be t-shirts.
Yeah, merch. We're gonna get our merch going too. Yep.
Sweet. I'll have to buy in on that one.
All right.
But Dalvin Cook, of course, as of today, waived, released, whatever you want to call it. His days in Minnesota are officially over. Dalvin Cook appears to be Miami and Denver to be the top 2 best fits for him, but Dallas's name is out there. I personally believe he's going to Miami. What do you guys think, Raj? I know you being a Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Dalvin Cook? Could you see him in Miami? And if not, where do you think Cook lands?
Could I see him there? Yeah, he was born in Miami, went to Florida State. Florida guy. So I'm pretty sure he would love to come back home. And as you mentioned, I think he even tweeted a picture of him in a Vikings uniform. I guess they played Miami. Was it 1 or 2 years ago? I forget. But then they were in the Miami Stadium, and so I guess I don't know if he was throwing out a hint, and that's what he wants to do. I would love to see him there. I don't think we necessarily need him there. With our wide receiver core, and then we have Mostert, Wilson, and then Devin Achane from Texas A&M, I believe. And I've been hearing good things about him at OTAs. I think he's extremely
Don't
fast.
act like you don't know him from Texas A&M.
I know.
Oh, where was he from? Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
Some Texas school, no. But with those 3 in our running back helm, I think we're okay right there. So
I think it would depend on the price, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how much it would cost to get them, and but I mean, I don't, it would be a great addition to our running back team. But to answer your question, I don't think we necessarily need him right now. I would rather get more help on the offensive line if we could. So
I think it'd be one of those, hey, price wise, and then you have to realize you're not getting as many carries as you did in Minnesota. So that's it.
That's another thing, because we're going to be throwing the ball first. The objective for this next season or this upcoming season is for Tua to just get the ball out of his hands as fast as possible.
Herb, what about you? Where do you think Dalvin lands?
I could see him. I mean, I heard you say Dallas with it. I guess Denver would be, because Denver lost their running back, right? Still.
Yeah, Gordon left, which that was that wasn't that big of a hurt. But of course, Javonte Williams, who I think is going to be an absolute stud. We're not, he's still coming off with the ACL, MCL, and PCL. There's another one that was torn on. You're not guaranteed that he comes back healthy or what we may get back out of him. So now you're stuck with Samaje Perine.
Yeah, I could see that more in Denver just because I know that they're trying to take more pressure off Russell Wilson. Yep. The Chargers would be an interesting one. I mean, I know they're keeping Eckler, but I wouldn't be surprised if they said, let's just get a little insurance.
Yeah.
Just in case. Like I said, the Dolphins, I do think they have bigger needs, but they were tied to him before, and they seem to be just getting a whole stable of running backs there. So those are some of the first names, I guess, that do kind of jump. I would think at his position, though, he'd want to sign with somebody that had, aspirations of a title for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I guess I think the other question is
with the Chiefs or something like that too.
Yeah, and I guess the other question is how much gas does he have left in the tank? Because we all know running backs, they have a shorter shelf life than some of the other players. But I want to say Cook's been like a Pro Bowler the past 4 seasons.
He's like 28, right? So
yeah, he's got to be 27, 28.
Ezekiel Elliott and
So I think he's got a few more good years left in him, but I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go. I think the Miami Dolphins thing came up first, just like I said, because that's his home. Yeah. So that's
probably a good position for him to not have to be like the guy taking all the carries and have a chance to make the playoffs, it's probably a better position for him than trying to get, 20, 30 carries a game.
Yeah.
No, I could see him, I think, land in Miami. That wouldn't really be much of a surprise. I think Denver, being a non-biased opinion, I think wouldn't be a surprise just because of that Javonte Williams thing. But
would you want him in Denver?
It wouldn't hurt us. I know that for darn sure. It'll give us, I think, Samaje. I don't, don't hold me to it. I don't believe Samaje started as an entire season from week 1 to then week 17, now 18. I don't think he's started a majority, every game and had majority of the snaps. So, you could see something in that. But my opinion, it wouldn't hurt. I wouldn't mind seeing number 4 in Denver. I don't know if he'll still be number 4 in Denver, but especially my biggest concern is Javonte Williams. The kid's a stud, but those kind of injuries I'm really concerned about, especially being that young. Look at Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
He, not saying he's Terrell Davis by any means, but his career was shortened by, I guess, somewhat of a similar injury. But anyway, I could see Denver. I think just because of George Payton, he's the one that drafted him. I could see him being in Denver. But Miami, I wouldn't be mad if he was. I completely bet going home on that one.
See Mike piggyback it off of me.
With Eckler happy they could sign Cook and trade Eckler for some other pieces. Yeah.
Mike just
happening.
Look at that.
I can see that.
That's why Mike is part of the RFC. He doesn't even listen to me.
Yeah.
So sad. So sad.
Oh, come on.
Tom Brady. Obviously, he's been pushing away the comments and the questions about him coming back, potentially the Raiders being the biggest team. Do you guys see Tom Brady making a comeback, or is his days officially done in the NFL?
If he did, I don't see why you would with the Raiders. It's like to use an aging over the hill superstar comparison, like with LeBron, just throwing out a random name here. Why would you come back at this point if you didn't think you were the missing piece to win the title? And I just don't think the Raiders are winning a title. Like quarterback obviously is a key to this, and they have no idea what's going on with Garoppolo. Man, if I was, what is Brady, 63 coming up this year? 64?
He's pushing 70.
Yeah. So would you really come back in that last year to not win a title? So that's why I don't see it with the Raiders.
I don't see it happening at all. I think when he first retired, I mentioned the fact that maybe he's not finished yet. But at this point, I think so much time has surpassed. And I think he's retired this time. I don't think he's coming out of retirement. I think he's got other things on his mind. I think the sport of football is always in his heart, and he's always going to be interested in it. And during this upcoming season, he's going to watch some games, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be like, man, I could be all around. But I think he's finished for good this time.
Yeah.
No, like I told Miss Tisha on the previous episode and we had the same discussion about Tom Brady. I think he's done. His play, towards all of last year is really reminded me so much of Peyton Manning, our Super Bowl 50 year. It was pretty bad to watch. I think Tom, is officially out of gas, and he's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, hands down.
Oh yeah,
but no, I think Tom needs to enjoy his or at least enjoy his kids, try to make his, maybe he can fight, remarriage or fight for his wedding, whatever. He probably lost it, but anyway.
Isn't he trying to get some sort of ownership into one of the teams? Is that, I heard
with the Raiders.
That's
what
is it the Raiders still?
Raiders.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, his name was floating.
That's why his name kind of started getting linked in the first place. He was getting ownership with them, and then they were like, could he just go play?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I mean, it was easier where he was in Tampa Bay. You're fighting Atlanta, who still isn't sure what they're doing. The Saints, who are up and down, and then Carolina still figured out. Versus like going to play Patrick Mahomes twice a year with the Raiders. Like Devontae Adams, that's a nice piece, but the Raiders are not winning. All respect to Willie out there. He is a Raiders fan, but it's just not happening this next year. Sorry,
right.
Hope he doesn't fire us, Raj.
And I'm going to do this one just for Lexi and Miss Tisha. Lexi is one of the 1/3 of the Kingdom's Queen podcast co-host. She'll be on the podcast here in the near future.
Okay.
Frank Clark, 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Chiefs, is signing with the Denver Broncos. So just in case those two are listening still, there you go. I'm going to rub it in just a little bit more. But anyway, no, I think Tom Brady, I think he's done. I think he needs to enjoy life and collect his retirement funds wherever that may be.
I agree.
College football just around the corner. College football expansion. The Big Ten released their 24-25 schedule, but did feature USC and UCLA. I'm not going to obviously go over them. Oklahoma, Texas joins next year. College football, the NCAA, EA Sports, whoever's running the show now with that. I'm not for sure if you guys caught much of it or not, but quite a bit of backlash, more of a protest that the EA Sports said, hey, we'll add you guys to the roster, but you only get $500, and a lot of players are like, nah, we might not be doing this. Thoughts on if you have any, by all means, it's still fresh out, so I'm trying to get all the facts straight, but sounds like we may or may not have EA Sports next year for all you video game lovers out there. And then also your thoughts on college football continue to expand, the Big 12, looking at Colorado and Arizona, Utah, and Gonzaga in basketball, and Connecticut for whatever reason for them. But thoughts on the continuation of college football's expansion, and then, of course, more importantly, the video game backlash on the players and the very bare minimal of money.
So they're what the 500? What you're saying is each player gets paid
pretty much
that
gets
if you're
paid
in the game.
Okay,
correct.
Well, how do the rest of the games work? They're like NBA games or whatever. Or this only college EA does.
This is, from my understanding, just strictly the college football one due to the NIL and.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody's like, well, y'all are getting paid anyway, so you don't need money from us. But
that's what I would think. And just to have the video game, like they couldn't afford to pay everybody what they want.
Well, no,
right.
And for me as a college player, I'd be like, look, if I'm good, I'm getting my NIL money other places.
Yeah.
And I want to be in the game. So
yeah. Because I guarantee you a lot of those kids, that's going to be like their game when it comes out. So I guarantee you a lot of those kids are going to be playing that game anyway. But
yeah.
I didn't know anything about that. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It definitely is. And I don't know. I get, that they fail, everybody has an opinion, and I respect theirs, and I just didn't realize it was that big of a deal in the video games. But
yeah. You're gonna kill the video games over everybody wanting a paycheck. Like
I know.
Exactly.
It's not gonna happen. So
as far as the expansion's concerned, I mean, we're gonna get to a point to where I'm starting to forget like who's in what conference, and it's just. It's gonna look so strange, and then I start thinking about like the kids that are actually going, like the fans going, and like it used to be where you could like plan out which games you wanted to go to as far as traveling was concerned, but it's gonna get to a point where some games are gonna be like so far away, some people won't be able to attend them. This is gonna cost too much money.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just getting really, really strange, and then just geographically, just kind of goes to the point that I just made. It's just starting to look really, really weird. But
like if you're a parent of a USC kid, are you flying to Maryland?
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's going to that game.
And what really, Raj and I have talked about this before. What really suffers is going to be the other sports. Football, you're at least okay. It's a Saturday thing. You're going to make stuff for or whatever. But what about the volleyball game on Tuesday night? Nobody's traveling.
Soccer,
right?
Soccer. All the other sports, you're just not going to be able to go see that. And if your daughter, your son, you're out in California, they decided to stay close to home and go to USC, and now all their games are on the other side of the country. Like you're pretty much living for the USC UCLA game, right? And that's it.
No, exactly.
And then the bigger picture is like, is the Pac-12 going to survive here? It seems like it's slowly going away, and the ACC is around the corner, looking like their members are ready to jump at any moment. So
the pro players get like 17,000 per player and to be in the Madden, which I'll be honest with you, Michael, I had no idea. I didn't know that.
No idea. Mike, I'm disappointed. Like 17K, I need it down to
It's got to be either 17.5, 18,000.
Mike is better than this, man.
Yes, Mike. When it comes to the research, Mike is on it. So I didn't know that anyway. Thank you for that information. I didn't. I didn't know they even got made that much. To be
Mike
honest.
probably just made a call. Hey man, how much are y'all? If you know Mike, you know he probably knows people. So
see, ladies and gentlemen, I told you the podcast is taking off because I think the first 2 times you guys were on the podcast, the research data team was very thin and staffing. So it looks like you guys are doing very well.
we are. I owe Mike a deal too next week.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah.
And that's why I have you, Mike. That's the whole point. That's why Mike is part of the RFC. He doesn't smart off to Raj like he does to me. He's ornery when it comes to me. He's mad because he missed our meal this week. I owe him next week. So
nice.
So Mike, I have a question for you. This is something I asked Herb the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Since Texas, I know you are going over to the SEC next year. Who do you see having a longer and better run in the SEC? I guess just starting next year going on, do you see Texas holding the reins for a little while, or do you see OU getting in there? How do you see that kind of panning out? And then if obviously they're doing away with the divisions,
right?
And it's just going to be the top 2 teams make it to the SEC championship. So,
no, I like that question because I think it's the biggest one that was discussed really with me and a lot of other people on Twitter. But it's the same thing. I think it's been the biggest for a while. You know, this one's really a tough one. I think if Oklahoma, you know, I took a lot of heat when I was on Coach I's Fanatic Sports last year, but had Oklahoma not lose Lincoln Riley, I would have probably said Oklahoma in a heartbeat.
Yep.
They just would have no defense. So I mean, I don't know how that would have. I don't know how that would have done in the SEC, but you know, I still think Brent's going to get this defense. The biggest concern I still have is the farewell tour of the Big 12. How well will we do in that? Who knows?
Yeah.
The quarterback situation, unfortunately, unless Oklahoma goes to the portal next year, you're going to have a quarterback with 0 experience on your roster headed into the SEC, which could feature. We don't know until next week who OU's playing, but you know, Alabama. I mean, we don't have to name off the teams. The whole conference, besides Vanderbilt, is not easy W's. So
and Missouri.
I forgot about Missouri. Yeah. So Missouri and Vanderbilt, you got 2 wins there. So you're pretty good with the quarterback named General Booty to play for you, and then everybody else you just hope for the best. But you know, jokes aside, Texas, you know, I think short term, I think for now, I think Texas might have a little bit more success.
Yeah.
However,
they've got the quarterbacks rolling in.
The quarterback is the biggest thing.
And we all don't know how good Arch Manning's going to be. We have no idea. I mean, I think
they signed another 5-star like for the year after him already.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for Oklahoma, if they can now, if Jackson Arnold can come in, heck, he may come out and beat Dylan Gabriel. I'm not a huge fan of Dylan, but he may come in and beat him. But you know, next year, you know, he may surprise us and semi-smoke the SEC. He ain't gonna completely smoke the SEC.
Yeah.
But by any means, but you know, he may come in and surprise us. But for the next few years, I think Texas is probably more of a better option than Oklahoma, just simply because the head coaching changed, and after that, literally your entire football team left. And you guys,
Riley left you in a bad spot, and it also feels like Texas has capitalized on NIL stuff quicker than Oklahoma did too as well. So
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for OU is going to have to continue to be recruiting, and hopefully the offense clicks. And I think the defense will be fine. I think Brent's not going to allow that to be a crapshoot. But no, I think Oklahoma, will be a little more longer when it comes to success in the SEC. Who knows, Raj? OU and Texas may both come into the SEC, and they both may just flat out squat 2 wins a year. I don't, you know. And they're both going to struggle for a while. I do know that.
And has it already been stated that they're going to maintain the Red River rivalry? Aren't they going to maintain that? Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be the one of the 3. I know the SEC wants to do that 3-year permanent. You know, you're guaranteed to play these 3 teams every single year, which and we knew OU Texas was going to be. And I'm absolutely agree with Mike here on this one. I thought the hire was a little questionable. I told I got to get his name correct. 'Cause I'm gonna not hear from this. he's coming on the show in the future, predominantly towards closest to Pigskin Pete, is what he's titled on Twitter. And like I told him on that, I'm still gonna vouch for what I said was I thought Dan Lanning should have been the head coach of Oklahoma just simply because he knows the SEC. He's had success at Georgia in the SEC, so he knows what it takes to win in the SEC. Brent, I like Brent. I like and I do like the hire to an extent. I don't think it was the home run hire. I'm not going to go out here and say that. And yes, I'm a Sooner fan, but I wasn't a very applauding of the hire. My concern with Brent Venables was it more, well, Lincoln Riley bent us over and whatever, did us dirty, and so we're going to come back and revitalize a program, but we're going to bring in what people means to Oklahoma. Well, you bring in people that has been alumni, it doesn't work out so well, and so I don't know. We'll see what Brent does. I do agree with Mike. If he go with Michael, I think if he goes another 6 and 7 season,
especially losing a couple of games the way they lost, not even competitive. Then that's when you get in trouble. You can suffer a 6 and 7 team with your team being gutted if they show fight every game.
Right.
But if you're just getting blanked out there, then it looks like they've quit on the coach already.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Non-conference schedule, I'm not concerned. I think it was Arkansas State, Tulsa, and Ball State or somebody ridiculous. So I'm not really concerned about the non-conference. Your conference schedule, we're not playing like the Texas Tech this year. I don't think we're playing Baylor this year. I think the toughest two is going to be Texas, and I think Cincinnati, I think will probably be up there. But I don't know. I think Brent's going to have a good year this year, and he's really going to have to recruit and use that portal come the SEC. He's just going to absolutely have to, especially that quarterback position, even if it has to go just a one-year deal in the SEC.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. SEC. Oh, speaking of the SEC, not the SEC. NBA expansion. Final topic as we wrap up the show. NBA is wanting to expand to 2 more cities after this fall and season, early 2024. Any ideas?
In your opinions? Seattle.
Yeah, I would say Seattle would be number 1 to kind of get that fan base back in. I guess Vegas. Yeah, because it seems like Vegas is a big market right now. Yeah. So.
Is that where they're thinking of? Is that what the story is, or they're just wanting to in general?
Pretty much that they were just saying, hey, here's what's going to happen in the NBA. NBA is going to expand early spring of 24. Now, I don't know how soon. I don't think it's going to evolve next year. It could be that what would be 2020. What would that be? 25, 26 season maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking Seattle, Vegas will be probably the top 2 choices. Now, would you guys throw in Vancouver or not so much?
No, I think they went there once and
they tried it, didn't work out. Now they're in Memphis. So.
Yeah, I think one in Toronto, and that'll be probably the only Canadian team I see.
Yeah,
like when Seattle lost their team, everybody's going crazy. When Vancouver lost their team, I don't even know if anyone noticed.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of curious on what they do. I think Seattle's I think they're just destined to get their team back.
Yeah, and I don't see the need for it though. Like I mean, some of these franchises right now are just like Charlotte is just there.
Yeah.
Right now, and now we're gonna imagine taking, if you get 2 more teams out there, you're gonna take like 1 player from each one of these teams who aren't already that shift Minnesota to the east. If you you're already like in one of those positions where the teams aren't that great already. So I'm not sure why I want to spread the talent out even more.
Yeah.
Especially with the dawning of all the super teams coming out there.
So. Mike, real quick, to kind of help, who has the most? Is it the West that has the most teams, or is it the East?
I think they're equal right now.
Split, right? It's 15 apiece, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I think they were talking about Minnesota would be a team that they would shift over.
Shift out, yeah.
Probably Minnesota. Would you throw out Memphis out there to even it out?
Memphis would be a good one. If you were, I guess if they put in 2 teams, yeah, Memphis would be a good one because of where they are.
Then Oklahoma City.
Although that's if Memphis is still around with the way they're going.
I think the levy that's going to be handed down to John Moran is going to be kind of like almost like a half season suspension to be honest. If they're waiting till after the finals, I think it's
no. Raj, didn't you hear the gun was a toy?
Oh, the gun was fake. I forgot.
Yeah.
And why did everybody from his camp wait until like a couple of days ago to say, "Oh,
they
it was
wanted
fake."
to see if everybody would figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, and regardless, I mean, he shouldn't have been doing that. It was just so silly, and it's just stupid, just stupid.
Yes.
Stupid people do stupid things.
Yeah,
and no, absolutely, and it's sad because John Moran has a wonderful career ahead of him.
Yeah,
and well.
A lot of talent is getting paid big money. I mean, I don't get it. If my one clause, if they were, the Herb Rodg Podcast, and they were going to pay us $200 million to do it, and they were like, "Hey, just don't wave guns in public," I'd be like,
"Hey, what gun?
You got it.
I will make sure everything is put away in the house."
Yes. Yeah, I'd have canceled my Instagram Live by now.
Yeah.
All my friends,
that's another thing. If you're around your friends, just tell them, "Hey, man, when we're out, no Instagram Live, no social media, nothing. We're just gonna go hang out."
Or I'm not paying for all your stuff anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're paying. Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I don't know. I personally, I just think it's gonna be a pretty big suspension coming up, and if it is like a 30-40 game suspension, I mean, there's Memphis's season right there. You can't expect
absolutely.
Steven Van Adams and like Desmond Bain to kind of carry them. I mean, they're going to be screwed for next season.
Has the commissioner called you about it, Raj? Have y'all talked?
Not yet. I have not talked. I don't call him Adam Silver. I just call it Sillies. His nickname is Sillies. I haven't talked to Sillies lately. I don't know. It was close to silver, and I just threw something in there.
You just do it together, just okay.
Yeah,
throw it out there. It's out there.
I haven't talked to Sillies in a few days. I might FaceTime him like Saturday when you're around because I know you're like a little kid around. I'm like, oh, I want to meet somebody famous. I'm like, I know him by nickname. Herb, calm down. So, yeah, sorry.
I love these stories.
Raj, your fan club's just exploding now as we speak.
They are.
Yes.
I've got to get on these applications, man. This is gonna be crazy.
He doesn't want the application. He just wants to collect all the dues. That's all.
Oh yeah.
He just wants all the money.
I'm gonna have application fees, and if you want me to mention your name on camera, then that's gonna be a fee. If you want me to say hi to your family members, oh my gosh, the money's gonna be coming in.
You thought way too much about this.
I did.
As we close out the as we close out the show, hashtag Raj fan club or hashtag RFC, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
If you're watching on Twitter, we'll hashtag this later. A few months, I don't know when it was, probably April or so. I made my little trolling. Whenever the Herb and Rodg did their NBA, it was their NBA playoff preview show.
Oh, okay.
And towards the end of the show, I sent an idea that sounded like it was, a pretty good idea. And but of course, Oklahoma headed into the SEC. We don't know the schedule next year, so bear with us on this one. But I'm going to, if it is in fact in Norman, which I've seen a lot of projections, and that's what it's aiming for, I'm going to personally invite Raj and Herb to Norman, and being in fact that I got season tickets, we can get in and do a live show in Norman in front of the stadium, and even if it's in Tuscaloosa. So what I'm saying is the official announcement is next year, pending if OU plays Alabama, that the Herb and Rodg Podcast and the Area Attack Podcast will be doing a live show regardless of where it's at. And so stay tuned on all those fun details. We won't know till next week because I don't know anything. So
we're good.
So
How many members of the fan club will travel, Raj? That's the real question.
It all depends on fees, man. It all depends on the fees. if I'm collecting enough money, then you'll move up the priority list. If you're not paying your dues, you might get kicked out the club.
Now, Raj, real quick,
Yes.
inflation continues to rise. Are those prices going to rise come 2024?
I don't care about any inflation, combustion, internal combustion, stagnation, anything. Raj needs Raj's money. That's it.
We have entered the talking about yourself in the third person phase.
Hey, Raj needs Raj's money.
Oh my goodness. Big Mike, if you're still out there, you created this, buddy.
Yeah.
This is on your head.
That's all I got for you guys. No, this is a fun show.
We appreciate you having us on, man. We appreciate it.
Mike, man.
Yeah.
Once again, guys, where can the listeners find you guys at on all social media platforms and your wonderful podcasts?
You got it. Okay, so we have your YouTube channel. You can always find all of our streaming stuff. We stream Monday nights at 7 p.m. Probably at least up until the fall when we might change it. Change it up for football season. We stream on to Spotify afterwards, so you can find us on all platforms. You subscribe through Spotify. You can find us on Apple Music. You can find us on iHeartRadio podcast, Amazon Music. So they stream everywhere. And then always, go to our Twitter page too as well. And even our Facebook pages, you can find us. So
yeah,
we are very accessible. And our Instagram page too.
Instagram, Herb Rodg, yes.
And Raj is actually even going to start doing TikTok dances. So that's coming
up.
It's been announced. It's too late. It's been announced.
Okay.
No takebacks.
Okay.
That's going to get interesting.
Very.
That's what you get for having a fan club.
Yeah, I know.
The expectations are high now, Rod.
Yes, they are. They are.
Of course, for the Air Raid Attack Podcast, find us on Twitter at Air Raid Podcast, my personal Twitter, Undefeated Mike, and then YouTube Air Raid Attack Podcast, and the same thing for the remainders of the Twitch and all that good stuff. Guys, it was a fun show. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for having us.
And I'll be talking with you guys soon. Episode releases soon. And until then, we'll see you guys next week. Everyone have a great weekend. Catch you then.
Peace
out.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.